Ready? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Shots with Devin, interactive photography lessons on the radio. How do we do that? Very easy. We tie into my website, www.devinshots.com. You can follow along on your computer during the broadcast. You can see the photographs that we're talking about. If you're unable to look at your computer now, maybe you're driving or you're outside, that's okay. We're videotaping the show, and we're going to post the video online. You can watch it later. Our format is based on questions from you, the listeners. So while you're online and you're following along with the show, send me an email with a question that you'd like to see discussed on the show. Every week we have a co-host. Usually it's a high school student or a college student who's interested in photography. This week we have Emily West. She's a sophomore at Washingtonville High School. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Glad to have you here with us.
Glad to be here.
We're going to talk to Emily about some of the photos that she's taken, and Emily has some very interesting questions that we're going to talk about as well. So in just a few minutes, you get to answer your first question. I bet you can't wait, huh?
I can't wait.
That's what I thought. During the first segment of the show, I like to talk about recent experiences that I've had on photo shoots with my clients. So I want to tell you about one I did this past weekend. This was a woman who contacted me a little over a year ago. She signed up for 4 sessions with me. Originally, she was pregnant, and she wanted to do a maternity session, and then she wanted to do 3 more sessions over the first year of the baby's life. And those are beautiful because by the time we're finished with that, she'll have this great portfolio of work documenting her experience. And in her case, she's got 2 other children as well. So I was there last week, and her baby is now about 8 or 9 months old. And she wanted to do a photo session with just the kids, the baby and the 2 older kids. And those can be challenging photo shoots, you know, to get the kids to behave or get the kids to look posed, right? Well, the reason why she hired me in the first place is because I don't put out pictures that are really posed. My photos tend to be a little bit more natural. So guess what I did with these kids?
What did you do?
Well, we had some fun. I covered the kids with finger paint. We put out a drop cloth and we gave the kids finger paints and we let them have fun. Go to town. Oh my goodness, we got some beautiful photos. There probably will be 1 or 2 on the website before too long. So while we were shooting, I noticed that she has a nice camera herself. She has a Canon Rebel, which is a digital SLR camera. You can change the lenses on it, and some pros even use them as backups because it's a really nice camera. So I said to her, Charlene, that's a nice camera. How do you like it? She said, I don't know. I wish I knew how to use it better. So I said, well, good for you. You can tune into my radio show, and you'll learn how to use the camera. It actually got me thinking that there's probably a lot of people like that who have these very nice cameras and really have very little idea on how to get the best out of them. What kind of camera do you use, Emily?
I have a 35mm digital Olympus.
Very nice. Actually, an Olympus was my first digital camera. They have really excellent lenses. They're nice cameras. You had a question for me about cameras.
I did. What is the best type of camera to use?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask me that, and it's a difficult one to answer because there's 2 factors that you need to take into consideration. First of all, what are you going to use the camera for? For example, this is one of my cameras. This is the main camera that I use, and it's a professional digital SLR. It's a big camera. This is the smallest lens that I have on it. So this thing, to carry this around, is a little bit cumbersome for me, right? For everyday shooting, but it's perfect for what I do with my portrait work. So that's why I got this camera. So you have to ask yourself that question: what am I going to use the camera for? So what are you going to use your camera for?
I think I want a camera that I can just throw in my purse and go out with. Not too big.
Okay, so that narrows down the field a little bit, right?
Right.
So you don't want to get a professional digital SLR. It's too much, right?
Too big.
So you have another option or a couple of options. The next step down, it's still an SLR, which means single lens reflex, but they make smaller bodied cameras that have a fixed lens. You don't change the lenses. It has just one lens. It's about half the size of this, and they still very often have a lot of the creative control features. And They fit nicely in a small camera bag. Maybe a little bit bulky for a purse, unless you're one of those girls that has a big purse.
Which I am.
Oh, you are. So that might work for you. And then there's the regular point-and-shoot cameras that you've seen. They're just like a little rectangle.
Squares.
Right. So how do you know which one to get? Well, one of the things to keep in mind is the quality of the lens. Okay. You'll see in the advertisements, some cameras will say they have an optical zoom and a digital zoom. Do you know the difference? Do you know what an optical zoom is?
I do.
An optical zoom is the physical zooming capacity of the lens itself. So it's the actual glass and how it zooms, how it magnifies. A digital zoom, what do you think that would be?
The zoom inside the camera?
Yeah, it's actually just a computer program that takes the image that the camera is seeing and magnifies it. So it's not actually zooming in, it's just magnifying the image that the camera sees. Which do you think is better, optical or digital?
The optical?
Yeah, you're going to get a much sharper, clearer image with the optical zoom. So when you're looking for a camera, whether it's a real nice one or the fixed lens cameras, get one that has the best optical zoom. And you'll find those with the SLRs that have a fixed lens. Those will have the best zooms on them. Don't even pay attention really to that digital zoom advertising. I don't recommend using it at all. So that's the first thing. The second thing you want to look at is, do you have any type of creative control on the camera? Is it only automatic, or does it allow you to adjust focus? Does it allow you to adjust the light exposure, things like that, which we'll get into a little bit later in our lesson. So you want to see if it has these buttons or menu items that will enable you to control your exposure. And then what you have to think about is, how much can I afford, right? Get the best camera that you can afford. And really, what I would suggest that you do is you hit your mom up for a loan. You get a better camera than you can afford. Your mom's sitting in the room with us, and she's giving me the evil eye. You can't see her. So that's the answer to your question, though. Look at the camera, determine your use, try to get the best optical zoom, try to get a camera that you can grow into, so a camera that maybe has features that you don't understand yet.
Later you understand.
Yes. So always try and get a little bit extra that you'll grow into. Does that answer your question?
It does.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and we're going to look at some of Emily's photographs and do some shots with Emily. Stay tuned.